Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video, I'd like to speak with you about freight tonnage, why it's important, what happened in the first quarter of 2024, and what's likely to happen moving forward. But first, roll the intro. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like the video, be sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single release of our videos, where every Friday we're talking about something that could benefit you in your trucking businesses, in your trucking careers, as well as cover the loads we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased on owner operators and carriers operating under their own MC authorities, running under our truck dispatch services. As always, guys, big thank you for all the likes you've provided in all the previous videos. Please do keep them coming, and let's talk about freight tonnage. This is a very important market indicator, a signal that every trucker could use to kind of get an idea of where things are going in the market. There are lots of different signals. They don't always correlate as closely as freight tonnage correlates to freight rates. And so this is why I wanted to get into some greater detail about what freight tonnage is. I know we're always talking about volume, tonnage, and things like that. And I want to look at what happened in the first quarter, what's likely to happen moving forward, and how you guys can utilize this to your advantage in obtaining higher paying freight. So the importance of freight tonnage as a signal is that basically freight tonnage tells us all about demand. Lots of freight tonnage or high levels of freight tonnage means there's a lot of freight demand, and the inverse is also true. Now, trucking feels these economic slowdowns that we experience in our economy, that we're experiencing currently globally and within the United States. Trucking as an industry, or even as a sector, if you want to look at it that way, experiences these economic slowdowns first or before other sectors. So usually that's the first signs are going to be in your transportation sector. Now, freight tonnage directly impacts rates. So this is, again, another reason for you to keep a close watch of what's going on with freight tonnage. And you can get this data available, usually updated monthly, depending on the source that you're going to use to get your data. The most important thing is once you pick a source, stick with that source for at least a year to make sure that you're not jumping ship and mixing data sources. Now, tracking freight tonnage, it actually really helps you anticipate shifts in the freight market. And again, this is why it's super important, because you can look at different types of freight. You could look at different movements in, for example, refrigerated, dry van, industrial freight for flatbeds and step decks, things like that, as well as the total figures, which are also very helpful, as you can see the aggregate numbers change from month to month to month, compare it on a month-to-month basis, as well as year-to-year basis, very similar to what we're going to do in the remaining portion of this video here. Now, trucking takes, as mentioned, a bigger hit than other sectors, generally takes that hit before other sectors. And so again, another area that truckers can focus on, especially being in the industry and so intertwined with so many of the other economic indicators out there, which for trucking may or may not really even tell us the true story of what's going on in the freight markets. Now, when it comes to freight tonnage, it's been down for 13 consecutive months now. Every month we just kept adding another month, hoping for the best, but this is the 13th consecutive months in a row where we're seeing freight tonnage being down. Now, the ATA's tonnage index, there are other organizations that have their own indexes and the data will vary. However, we're going to look at a couple here today. First of all, ATA's tonnage index, they're showing a decrease of 0.8% in the total of the first quarter of 2024. So January, February, March, all in all, cumulative, we saw a decrease of nearly 1%. Now, considering that we're looking at very large numbers, a 1% decline is a major decline. Don't think of it as it's only 1%. That's a major decline on a quarterly basis. Now, ATA's index, it's super important to understand that they're looking at contract freight. They're looking at the contract market and not the spot market. You got to remember that contract freight is pre-negotiated freight, and the spot market freight is basically on-demand type of freight. So very different things. However, in today's market conditions, your contract freight market and your spot market have been running quite closely and in parallel. Now, as far as the numbers are concerned, and really pay attention here, we're going to look at year-over-year numbers, and we're also going to look at the monthly numbers compared to the previous month. We'll start off with January, where we were down year-over-year by 4.7%. Huge. Then also in January, we were down 3.5% compared to December of 2023. So going back to the previous year. Moving on to February, we're looking being down 1.4% year over year in February. So obviously those numbers drastically changed from January's numbers that had increased in tonnage. But then we saw further decreases because when we're actually comparing to January, February to January on a month-to-month basis, we were actually up by 4.3%. Again, that really shows us where January and the weather and all those issues that we saw from the winter storms really affected. Now, moving on to March, we saw that we were down 1% year over year as a general statistic, and March was also down by 2% compared to February numbers. So you have to really kind of compare month to month and also year to year, and you will see that we're going 4.7%, then 1.4%, then we're down 2%. It's because those monthly figures are actually changing the year over year figures, and when we're actually looking at year over year, we might be looking at January that was very, very poor in the previous year and really hot in the current year. So it might look like things are really popping off, and they might really not be at all. Now, also comparing this to the LMI, which is something that we've covered basically every month and going back to even years back, where we're looking at the Logistics Managers Index and the March LMI, which we also covered in one of our lives recently that we do every Sunday for about a couple hours, covering your guys' questions and other topics in depth. The March LMI shows increasing rates, freight rates increases basically for the past 3 months. The only question I have is, where are those freight increases? Because although our dispatchers are definitely pushing the envelope and getting higher rates that the market is allowing for, the problem is that generally we are seeing market decreases in volume, in tonnage, in freight rates, and other major indicators. Tell me that I'm wrong. Let us know in the comment section below how you guys feel about this, what you're seeing in the real figures in a real market, and where do you feel that moving forward, quarter 2, quarter 3, things are going. Guys, please smash the like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'm going to switch over to the camera. We're going to look over the loads that we booked for our customers, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these loads. Guys, we got vans, reefers, flatbeds. Everyone took a bit of a different approach. Some guys made a ton of money in just 6 days. Others pushed on for a week and longer. Nonetheless, the rates are there. The gross is there. The freight is there, even in today's crazy, crazy markets. Let's go ahead and start off with Mike coming out in his reefer out of Mount Angel, Oregon, going to Nampa, Idaho. It's a 40,000 pound load of nurseries, 45 degrees on a reefer, 448 loaded miles, booked at $1,500, got him an easy $335 a loaded mile. Then Ontario, Oregon to Greeley, Colorado. It's a 43,000 pound load of frozen potatoes, -10 continuous on the reefer, 838 loaded miles, booked at $2,450, got him $292 a loaded mile. Then out of Henderson, Colorado, took a load back to Clackamas, Oregon. It's a 42.5 load of miscellaneous freight, or FAK, 33 degrees on a reefer, 1,230 loaded miles, booked at $2,100, got him $1.71 on that one, and still averaged out really, really well. 6 days on the road, Monday through Sunday, $6,050 in 6 days, ran 2,516 loaded miles at an average of $240 a loaded mile, and get this, only 80 miles a deadhead. So an excellent job, Mike. Way to go, sir. Then we got Jason and his dry van coming out of Hatton, North Dakota, going to Lubbock, Texas. It's a 44,000 pound load of beans, 1,215 loaded miles, booked at $2,700, got him $222 a loaded mile. Then Brownfield, Texas, going to Harold, South Dakota. It's a heavier load, 45,000 pounds of birdseed in this regular dry van, 929 miles, booked at $1,728, got him $1.86 a loaded mile on that one. He finished off out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, going to Denver, Colorado with a 41.5 load of packaging materials, 622 loaded miles, booked at $2,200, got him $354 a loaded mile. So that was certainly worth it. Now here's what you get. Jason ran Friday to Friday, 7 days on the road, grossed $6,628 in gross. Ran 2,766 loaded miles at an average of 240 per loaded mile average. An excellent job, Jason. Keep up the great work, sir. Next, we got Norman in his flatbed coming out of Jonesburg, Missouri, going to Sugar Land, Texas. A 47,000 pound load of shingles, 849 loaded miles, booked to 1,750. Got him 206 loaded mile. Then out of Sugar Land, Texas, Zero Deadhead coming out to Garner, North Carolina with a light load of 17,000 pounds of street light poles. It's 42 pieces in total. 1,226 loaded miles, booked to 2,650. Got him 209 a loaded mile on a very light load. Then Lewisburg, North Carolina to Blufffield, Virginia with a 45,000 pound load of palletized mulch. No tarp was needed on this flatbed. 240 loaded miles, booked to 900 bucks. Got him an easy 375 a loaded mile. And he finished off strong out of Narrows, Virginia, going to Lynchburg, Ohio. It's a 47,000 pound load of palletized stone. 272 loaded miles, booked at 875. Got him 322 per loaded mile on that one. An excellent job, Norman. It's a flatbed running Friday to Friday, gross $6,085 in gross in 7 days. Ran 2,587 loaded miles at an average of 235 a loaded mile with some very light freight on a ton of miles. And all of that done with only 80 miles a deadhead once again. So an excellent job on dispatch, on efficient dispatching in Norman for running these loads. Excellent job, guys. Then we got Junior with his dry van coming out of Fresno, California, going to Glendale, Arizona with a 43.5 load of roll stock. There was 175 bucks of detention that was included on this one. It's 589 loaded miles, booked at 1,320 in total. Got him 224 a loaded mile. Then Tucson, Arizona, going to Hurricane, Utah. It's a 45,000 pound load of beer, 505 loaded miles, booked at 1,300 bucks. Got him 257 a loaded mile. And he finished off out of Henderson, Nevada, going to Palm Coast, Florida. Super light load, 10,000 pounds of health supplements, lots of miles, 2,256 loaded miles, booked at 4,000 bucks, got him $1.77. And they finished off real strong. Junior ended up running for 6 days, made $6,620 gross in 6 days, ran 3,350 loaded miles at an average of $1.98 a loaded mile. But, you know, I would still say it's very, very efficient. Only 6 days, over 6,000 bucks. An excellent, excellent job, sir. Moving on to, let's take a look. Aaron in his dry van coming out of East, is it Dubuque, Illinois? Saying it wrong. To Toledo, Ohio, it's a 40,000 pound load of aluminum products, 420 loaded miles, booked at 1,045, got him 249 a loaded mile. Then out of Toledo, Ohio, Zero Deadhead on that one, to Brownsville, Tennessee. It's a 37,000 pound load of building materials, 624 loaded miles, booked at 1,100 bucks, got him $1.76 on that one. Then Cordova, Tennessee to Gatesburg, Gaithersburg, Maryland. It's a 44,000 pound load of motor oil, 868 loaded miles, booked at 2,400 bucks, got him 276 a loaded mile. Then Baltimore, Maryland to Bettendorf, Iowa with a 44,000 pound load of aluminum cells. And those are basically 1,000 pound aluminum bricks, if you will. They 849 loaded miles, booked at 1,200 bucks, got him $1.41 a loaded mile on that one. They finished off out of Rockford, Illinois, going to Indianapolis, Indiana with a 45,000 pound load of food and beverage. It was a Pepsi type of a Pepsi product load, 272 loaded miles, booked at 850 bucks, got him 313 a loaded mile coming out to Indianapolis. An excellent market for a dry van, and absolutely killed it. Aaron ran Monday to Monday, gross $6,595 in gross, ran 3,033 loaded miles at an average of 217 per loaded mile average. Excellent job. Last but not least, we have David and his dry van coming out of North Kansas City, Missouri, going to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's a light load, 24,500 pounds of adhesives. It's a non-hazmat load, non-hazardous materials load. There was a tanker endorsement required, and it was a protect from freeze load. So you had probably a heater on this one. 618 loaded miles, booked at 1134, got him $1.83 a loaded mile on that one. Then Kaukauna, Wisconsin, going to Little Rock, Arkansas. A very light load, 7,840 pounds of building materials, 800 miles loaded, booked at 1,700 bucks, got him 213 a loaded mile, and he finished off out of Talbot, Arkansas, going to Elmo, Washington. It's another light load, 8,145 pounds of plastic food packaging, 2,347 loaded miles, booked at 4,200 bucks, got him $1.79 coming out to Washington. Did an excellent job. David ran for looks like 7 days, Tuesday to Tuesday, grossed an amazing $7,034 in gross, ran 3,765 loaded miles. at an average of $1.87 per loaded mile, only hit 68 deadhead miles in total, so very, very low and excellent gross for 1 week, very light loads, and definitely a ton of money. Excellent job, David. Welcome back, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Guys, as you can see, the rates are there, the gross is there. Yes, they have reduced, they have decreased, we have seen declines, slumps, downtrends, call it what you will. The bottom line is this: the market is tough. There's not enough freight. Some parts of the country are completely bare, and it's almost practically guaranteed that if you're dispatching yourself in today's market, you're most likely leaving money on the table. The truth is that you guys have it tough enough, hard enough as it is in today's market. You have all the crazy liability and all the expenses weighing over your shoulders. You're also having to run the freight, book your next loads, make the ton of calls, negotiate with brokers and haggle, then finally do the packets, call your insurance, handle all the stuff, including billing and invoicing. And let's not forget having to drive thousands of miles every single week while also trying to keep some semblance of sanity with maybe taking a shower once in a while. Some food would be nice, maybe a few hours of shut-eye. Guys, you don't have to struggle the way that you've been struggling. You could actually make your life easier and more profitable, but you gotta, pick up the call or text us. It's super simple. Our phone number is 801-448-6363. Like I said, call or text that number to get more information. We'd love to have you. And also, this is available for lease on owner operators, not only carriers operating under their own MC authority. If you're working with a leasing outfit, we have good news. We do lease on owner operators who have their own equipment. If you have your own MC authority, have the willingness to work, to go out there, and you're coachable, we'd love to have you. Get in touch with us. Again, that number is 801-448-6363, or go to our website at aftdispatch.com to get more information, and check out our blog there with a ton of very useful content and posts. Guys, until next week, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care.